So are you looking for a fragrance that just brings you happiness and peace? Because if you are, Bond No. 9's the centerpiece for him might be the fragrance you're looking for. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go and hit that subscribe button down below. And also be sure to follow my fragrance Instagram page where I have been extremely active over there. But today we are reviewing one of the most popular fragrances from the house of Bond No. 9, which of course is a luxurious, niche, expensive house as we know. But today is of course Bond No. 9's The Scent of Peace for him. And guys, let's talk about that name for a second. That is an awesome name, The Scent of Peace for him. So they're pretty much indicating that this fragrance will just bring you peace and happiness. And we'll actually see if that's the case with this fragrance. But I do want you guys to know that this fragrance does actually get compared to, of course, Creed's Aventus because it contains the note of pineapples. And nowadays, it seems like any fragrance that has pineapple is cloning Creed Aventus, but we'll talk about if it does have a similar DNA to that fragrance or not. So before we actually get to that though, let's go and talk about some information about the centerpiece for him. So this fragrance was actually launched in 2013, so that would actually only make it a few years after the creation of Creed Aventus. And as we know, fragrances do typically take a few years to actually create. So might not have actually been trying to clone Aventus or being inspired by that, but who knows, they might have been. Now for retail prices, like if you go to like Saks Fifth Avenue or any retailer, it does run you quite a bit of money. A 50 ml is gonna run you $280, or you can opt for the bigger fragrance bottle like I have in hand, the 100 ml, which is gonna actually cost you $410. So yeah, definitely on the higher end side of niche fragrances and almost up there with Creed. But even if you do enjoy the Creed Aventus DNA, you might as well just get a bottle of Aventus because this is only maybe like $50 cheaper retail at least than Creed Aventus. So it's not a big price gap between the two. So for the Perfumer, I actually did try to do as much research as possible. And honestly, I could not figure out or find out who was the nose behind the centerpiece for him. So if any of you guys watching this knows who actually made this fragrance, leave that comment down below because I'm actually very curious. So with all the information out of the way, let's go to look at the packaging and presentation of the centerpiece for him. So I do not unfortunately have the box of the centerpiece to him, but I only have this bottle. But guys, just look how beautiful this bottle looks. Of course, it comes in the iconic star-shaped Bond No. 9 bottles with the plaque in the middle. And what makes this bottle stand out a lot is, of course, that bow tie right there up around the collar, which looks incredible. On the top, nothing on top of the cap. On the bottom, you do have your sticker with your information and batch code to obviously authenticate your product and see when it was produced. Then on the back, nothing much going on the back either. Now this cap does click into place pretty snugly. It is pretty light though. I don't know if this is either glass or plastic, but yeah, it doesn't feel of high quality. Then nothing on the atomizer either. Now I know a lot of people actually usually take the bow tie off, but for me, I think it looks incredible. So yeah, awesome looking bottle from Bond No. 9. The top, you have pineapple, juniper berries, and bergamot. In the middle, you have currant buds. And in the base, you have cedar and vetiver. So of course, the top of this fragrance is the similarity to Creed's Aventus, but let's go ahead and spray this fragrance and test out the atomizer with Bond No. 9's. Okay, kind of a generic atomizer, especially for that hefty price tag you're gonna be paying for this fragrance as well. But man, let's see this opening. Now, I do wanna let you guys know that I do actually really enjoy the centerpiece for him. I know when I go to like Bond No. 9 counters, it's so overwhelming. They have some of the most fragrances I've ever seen from a house. They gotta have like over 50 bottles there. And I always kind of gravitated towards the Scent of Peace for him, and I'll tell you why now. So of course, in that opening, I do get a blast of a juicy, very bright pineapple note in here. That definitely does resemble the pineapple in Aventus, but this fragrance does kind of go its own route. It's not extremely similar to Aventus. I honestly wouldn't really say this is like an Aventus clone like some fragrances I have in my collection. So it is a little bit more of a unique take on that bright pineapple note in the opening at least. This fragrance does come across extremely fruity. Obviously, you're going to expect that from pineapple, juniper berries, and the bergamot note. Now, this is what I would say is more of like a bright, fresh, fruity take on like the Aventus DNA, which is usually like smoky, woody. This is not that. It's just extremely happy, extremely bright, uplifting fragrance. And in that middle notes, you do have that currant buzz. Now, when I first saw that, I thought it might have been like a cannabis note or something like that, but it's actually not that. It's like a leaf of like black currant, which is obviously very prominent in Aventus as well. You get a heavy black currant note in there, but you do get like, it's more of like an earthy green black currant that I get in this fragrance. And that currant buzz is extremely heavy in the opening and makes it very green. Yeah, that opening is just done so good. And I think the naming behind this fragrance is absolutely perfect. The scent of peace, like I said in the intro. It definitely does bring you like a calming, peaceful kind of vibe. I love wearing this one when I just want to like be happy throughout the day and just put a smile on my face. This one always does that, guys. So hats off to bond number 9 for pretty much capturing a peaceful fragrance. I do have to actually say that this fragrance does come across pretty natural to my nose. There's nothing really like piercing or sharp or synthetic about this fragrance, which obviously I'm expecting to get a natural smelling fragrance, especially at 400 plus for a 100 ml bottle. So at least it does do that. It does come across natural smelling, which I love. I'm a sucker for a good natural smelling fragrance, even though no fragrance can pretty much use 100% naturals, because if they did, the performance would be lackluster, because synthetics are usually what actually makes a fragrance perform a lot better. So it's good to have a nice mixture, maybe a little bit more naturals than synthetics, but yeah, this one does have a very nice synthetic or very nice natural fruity smelling opening, which I enjoy so much. I also do want to mention that the centerpiece for him does come across smelling like a designer fragrance though, just because of like the DNA and stuff like that. There's nothing really like daring, nothing extremely complex about this fragrance. It does smell like a fragrance that you might kind of smell at like a department stores like Macy's, Dillard's, something like that. This really has a crowd-pleasing aspect to it, which a lot of niche fragrances don't usually do that. They're usually more, like I said, complex, daring, and on the exotic side of things. This isn't that, but I would say it's more of like a niche version of a designer smelling fragrance, so to say, because it is extremely natural and stuff like that, but still being crowd-pleasing. So if you're like looking for a crowd-pleasing compliment magnet fragrance, but you want to smell luxurious, you want to smell natural, you want to smell expensive, then the centerpiece for him is going to be for you. I do want to touch on that dry down. The dry down is very kind of boring, very common, just as a cedar and vetiver kind of combination, which you find a ton in a lot of dry down of fragrances. So not much to talk about in the dry down, but luckily, guys, that top and the middle do last a very long time. So don't have to worry about that top disappearing after like 30 minutes to an hour. So yeah, which is very good. So for seasons that I would think would be best for the centerpiece for him is definitely the spring and summer. Just with that very uplifting, vibrant, fruity opening, guys. It just smells like spring and summer to me. Obviously, you could wear this all year round. It would actually be a very good signature-worthy fragrance, but my collection, at least, I'm only gonna mostly wear this one for the warmer, hotter months of the year. So for gender and age groups that is best for this fragrance is definitely leaned on the masculine side of things. So yeah, nothing feminine about this fragrance. It doesn't have any like white florals or nothing like that really going on. And for age groups, guys, this pretty much works for any age groups. Even though when I smell this one, I think of like a wealthy, up-and-coming younger guy that may be like a CEO or maybe like a younger famous guy as well. It just sort of has that vibe. Someone of status that is a little bit younger and is wealthy and knows exactly what he's doing and what he's after. That is the perfect fragrance for that exact kind of person, at least in my head when I smell this. So it would work for all age groups, but definitely an up-and-coming entrepreneur, maybe younger guy is perfect for that. Now let's touch a little bit on the best occasion. Now, this actually does work for casual and formal. So like I said, you can definitely wear this one just going out, maybe on a date even as well, running errands. It just has that kind of versatility to it. But you can also definitely wear this one to work or the office, or if you're dressed up, if you're going to a wedding, or if you're going to like a very important meeting or something like that. This fragrance just works for pretty much all occasions. So yeah, that's another plus on my end when it comes to versatility of the centerpiece for him. Performance from my testing of the centerpiece for him. So because this fragrance does actually smell extremely natural, which is obviously good for what it goes after, it does lack a little bit in the performance category for my testing, guys. I would say it's about average when it comes to like projection and longevity. It's not as good as aventus because aventus obviously has a very woody base, very musky, very smoky kind of vibe to the DNA, which this one doesn't. So it's very, like I said, kind of fruity, vibrant, and fresh is what I would describe this fragrance. But the performance isn't below average, it's about average. There's nothing really that I wanted more from it, so to say. It definitely got pretty much through a whole work day. So for longevity, for my testing, I got about 8 hours on skin, which is about average for me. And projection around 3 hours or so of very solid projection from that opening, which like I said, is very vibrant. It just pushes off the skin very nicely for the 3 hours until it starts to settle down into like a green, like I said, kind of boring, dry down with the cedar and vetiver combination. But yeah, pretty much average performing fragrance from my testing, which a lot of people would say they want more from it. But at the end of the day, not all fragrances are made to be beast mode performers that last 2 days on your skin. You have to shower 3 times to scrub it off. And for me, guys, I don't really want that, so to say. It is nice to have performing fragrances that just are beast mode and nuclear. But it's also nice to have natural smelling fragrances that still do perform about average on my skin and just pretty much get you through an entire workday. And that's pretty much all you basically need. You come home, shower, and the fragrance is gone, but you did enjoy it throughout the day. But that's gonna wrap up my review of Bond Number 9's The Centerpiece for him. Let me know down below if you actually enjoy this fragrance, if you wear this one, if you're thinking about getting it, or what is your favorite fragrance from the house of Bond Number 9? Because like I said, guys, this is a house that is just so overwhelming for me. I know they have like New York, which is like an oud. They obviously have Bleecker Street, which is a very popular fragrance. They do have that Dubai collection, which I do own behind me, is Black Sapphire, which is a very good like beeswaxy, oudy fragrance, which I love, but it's very daring. It's the exact opposite of the centerpiece for him. But yeah, let me know down below your favorite from the house. That's gonna do it for me, guys. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.